great. Air goes through here, air goes out here, but when the air goes in here and goes out, physics happen, and it drops. So it drops to the bottom of the container. Popping it open like that causes you to see the inside of it. Okay. So when it's out in the field, it's closed and you can have it in either a fixed position or rotating. And you have a steel pipe in the ground with a fin on it. You have a little place to set it. They're all in the container at Fabian. At 50 centimeters, about that high. You can also have it at 100, so you can get a 2-profile system. So that's basically it. Next we're going to show you how to take the sample. So you take it off of its little holder and you open it up. So you have 2 pieces and you have sand. And what you're going to have is, sorry, I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. Toothbrushes, DI water, and a funnel. Those are the only tools that you need for collecting in the field. What you're going to do is you wet the BSNE down with water. And you scrub with the toothbrush as much as possible. You want to get as much of the dirt out as possible. Yeah. But and you have your sample container, which is a Gatorade bottle. They're the best option because they're $1 and you can run over them. And we're not doing any chemical analysis on these samples, so you're not going to get any leaching effect happening. So you water it down really well. Funnel goes inside. Make sure it's as clean as you can possibly get it, and the best way to find out if it is you run your finger through it, and if it feels gritty, you still have sample in there. So you make sure you clean that really well. You make sure you clean your toothbrush. Right? Make sure it's as clean as you can get it. You clean the funnel, and then you're done taking your sample. And then it's ready to be transported to the lab. You put your BSNE back together like this. There's grooves, like that. Then you just slide it and hit it closed. So that's going to be your field, getting your sample from the field itself, and you put it back in its little holster. Okay. Next, what happens when you get to the lab finally? You have your samples, and all of you guys are going to do some hands-on stuff with this. We're going to go over to that bench over there. Okay? Because this has the scale that we're going to use. And make sure you always have a form, a piece of paper with you to write notes down. Say like, you dropped the lid in the field, make sure you have that note written down, because if you don't, then you'll wonder why you have a higher content of soil in one sample than another, even if they're right next to each other. So first things first, you want to make sure that your scale is zeroed out. Always make sure of that first. Zeroed out. You want to weigh the beaker all your beakers first. Beaker 26, its first weight is going to be 26747. You want to weigh these 3 times because you want to get an average overall. Let it zero out again.
Weighted overall average for like a tear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I tend to do all of them and then I do them again, and then I do all of them again.
Okay.
So if you only had one sample, then this kind of quick, easy method is easier. 2, 6, 7, 7. So the weights were different, you just average that. Now if you have a lot of samples, it's actually easier to do all of them once. So say I did this one first, and that was 267. Then I do this one. This is 402.
Wow, how are they that much different?
Oh, that one's much heavier.
Oh, okay.
Different glass too.
Yeah.
Not Pyrex, so not.
Wow, but this scale is not happy with that.
Is it the cork?
Oh, good point. Thank you.
Well, that made a huge difference.
0. And then zero it out again, and then start over again. So if you have a lot of samples, you do everything, tear it, do everything again. So. And you may not think that the 0 and 1 make a difference, but they make a huge difference once you get samples in there and dried. So you can see that there's a difference overall. This one probably was the only one that didn't have a differentiation. So now you're ready to do your samples. Always make sure you number everything. So we have beaker 26, and we're going to pair that with bottle 18. Okay? Huh.
I was just thinking if this was numbered, which it doesn't look like it, you should do the, pair them with the minimum numbers, like, you know what I mean?
Depending on who's in left. It's up to you.
Okay.
Just make sure you write everything down, because
Yeah.
you don't want to get
Just write it down,
confused. Right, so
Yeah.
we're going to pair 26 with 18. And there is a spreadsheet. I will make sure you guys have it. It's in the NMCC Dropbox, though.
Okay.
So first thing you want to do, you don't have a lot of water in here and you have a lot of debris around it. So you want to make sure that you get more water in here. So I'm going to go over here to the DI dispenser, which is totally empty. Oh no. So you want to try and clean this as much as you can. Sometimes with this hard plastic it's really hard, but it's beneficial, especially when every grain of sand really counts. So you can see at the bottom I didn't get it all out with that first shake. And with the larger beakers, you can add as much water as you want, right? So if you can't get everything out at once, you can always add another beaker. You can. So my bottom's clear. It looks, and now I gotta clean the top. See, I dropped it, and now I gotta clean it. And I will tell you, you will never get everything out, but you want to try and get as much as you can out. Okay, so you do that. Make sure you get the lid too, because once you shook it, that's going to add that debris as well. Okay, now when you're confident that this is clean, sometimes you need another big rinse from the DI thing. You can do that. I mean, we have a lot of room here, right? So that's ready to be put in the oven.
You want to weigh it first?
No.
No?
No. So what we're doing is we're doing dry weight,
Wait after.
and yeah. So we have an empty weight of the beaker, and then we're going to have a dry weight, and then we subtract it. And then you get a total amount of how much sand is in it. That's why I said you can add as much liquid as you want,
Okay.
because we don't care. Now, would anybody like to do the next one?